Okay, so Shokugeki no Soma came out in time. Yay. Um, this is a very good chapter for many reasons, and we'll start with um, Hisaku and Soma because there was a bit of Erina and Todoroki, but I'll get there pretty soon. So with Soma and Hisako, we finally understand what it means for them to change that particular restaurant because we knew from last time that there needed to be a change made for the better. Uh, and so Soma is able to kind of give Hisako the answer. Instead of being cryptic like last chapter, he pretty much outright gives her the answer while she's doing the secretary work, and they're complimenting her on it. They're like, "Isn't she just a student?" Well, she's the personal assistant to Erina Nakiri, so obviously she has some secretary skills because I'm sure she's had to do that kind of stuff for her. And she looks very nice with those glasses, by the way. Uh, um, let's see what else. So yeah, they find out that the problem with the place is what happens when they leave. Are they just going to go back to the way they came, or are they actually going to change for the better? The answer is the former, because obviously the ones who are making the difference are Soma and Hisako. No, nothing has changed in the restaurant itself that'll make it better. So uh, she like scares the shit out of the owner. Emergency meeting, and we have the obviously the backlash. This reminds me of Kitchen Nightmares, like through and through, because I don't know if you guys have ever watched Kitchen Nightmares by Gordon Ramsay. I personally love shows done by him. I think he's great personality, not just when he's yelling, because there's like Kitchen Nightmares is a different story, especially the UK version. The UK Kitchen Nightmares, he's very very calm. He's very how do we say it? He can be obviously blunt and he's very honest, but he has like the sort of softer side to him and like very more casual side, and it's really good. I recommend it, especially the UK version. I think it's much better than the American version, which is more doctored up to be more dramatical. But both of them are good. So on topic, they have sort of this kitchen nightmares thing where these people are refusing, because this, generations and generations have been working here, and that's understandable. Both sides of the argument are definitely understandable. It's, tradition is something that's very, very hard to let go of, especially if it's something you hold on to dearly. And I know, that's difficult with everybody who have sentimentality about tradition. You know, for instance, um, my dad followed certain traditions coming from a Jewish background, and there are certain things that I do like to follow in his stead now that he passed. So uh, I don't know, but obviously they're not detrimental to growth or anything like that, so they're fine. But in this case, the traditions are detrimental to uh, the restaurant because you know people are just passing by and they can't have like a 30-minute lunch, the business lunch, because of the way that the kitchen moves. And so the decision is to make it by reservation only, and that makes sense because business lunch is quick and people just passing by make the thing crowded. However, if um if it's reservation, you only get so much, and you have your regular customers who will never stop as well, and then you can serve them all because the kitchen is less flooded, because the dining room is less flooded. It makes sense on like on a business level and everything. Excuse me. Jeez. So, that seems to be going well, apparently. I mean, one customer came in and shit. And the best thing, I left. I read this chapter after waking up, and I'm not a morning person, so, but I left at the very last page. That was so funny. Where he says it wasn't much, his catchphrase, and she's like, "Don't go change. It's thank you and come again. Don't change it to your original phrase." Oh my gosh, Soma is amazing. He is. That really topped off this chapter and made it like very very good. So now we're gonna switch over to the Todoroki Erina side, and Erina is obviously doing what she does best, and that's bitch at people and change things for the better, I guess. But this chapter on her side focused on Todoroki instead, because she's washing dishes and she's being ordered around, and she's doing a good job. But obviously for the stagiaire, I think, is it like stagiaire? I have no fucking idea how it's pronounced, but the assistant period, I guess, is uh, requires change, and so she is not. She doesn't seem like she's getting the picture, but she understands what she has to do because she knows what Aaron is doing. So she has a perfect example right in front of her. But she notices something 'cause she's washing dishes, and she notices that there's a lot of sauce left on it and certain things with vegetables and things. So in her mind, what makes sense is to allow the customer to choose with the saucier or a saucier or whatever. I think it's a saucier. Um, Basically, a sauce tray that can pour as much or as little as you want, which makes perfect sense uh, if if the customer is, you know, definitely varies between how much sauce they use. And at first the owner is like, nope, absolutely not, because he doesn't want her voicing her opinion. And then Aaron is just like, no, voice your opinion. And so she does. And then he's so reluctant, but Erina says that's viable because it's something they use in France a lot in French cuisine. And this guy, I mean, he's supposed to be a bad guy, but I do understand where he's coming from. Just like the tradition thing, he likes to do things his way, and it makes sense. Like I know when I'm doing something, I like to have it done my way, and I know many people are like that. And if you say you're not, chances are you're either lying or you're just not particular about anything, because most people like things done their way. And so, I mean, he's earned prestige his way, and so he feels like to change it would be like a disservice. But all of a sudden, a guy comes in conveniently and says he wants more sauce, and then they start smiling. The two of them start smiling. Is like, checkmate, bitch. So that's it for that side, and I guess that's it for the chapter. So it seems like both of them will pass, or all four of them rather. Uh, yeah, they're all gonna they'll pass the first test. Apparently, it said first, so there's gonna be more. I'm guessing because it's gonna be a whole arc, like because it hasn't been that long so far. I'm guessing like the restaurant is just the first part of it. But yeah, I wonder what the second one is gonna be about. Maybe working in like a Tootsuki Academy like kitchen. Like I go when I go to college at a community college, we have like specific restaurants that are run by the culinary group, and so like I think that could also be a thing, like because Tootsuki Academy is literally for culinary, and so it's possible that the next step is going to be working for a restaurant that's literally owned by Totsuki and part of campus or something like that. But anyway, that's the chapter. I know I went on a little long, but there was a lot to talk about in this chapter because there was a lot to explain, and I went off a little off topic with Kitchen Nightmares. But yeah, the ending was freaking hilarious. It wasn't much. He loves saying it, and so yeah, uh, very good chapter. I would go as far as to say a great chapter because of the progression and just how it made sense of just everything and really just kind of pulled it together. Um, but now, and there was one more thing I have to mention is that I totally understand why Soma figured it out. At first I thought he was being unhappy, but it's not. That's not the case. He was actually thinking ahead, which makes perfect sense. So I misjudged Soma's motivation there. So yeah, that's it. Great chapter, and hope to see you guys next week.